Welcome to today's yoga-inspired leg session. Today we're strengthening and mobilizing our legs at the same time with this flow that you can rinse and repeat. So to start the flow, we're standing at the top of our mat. Let's lift the right knee as high as it will go, finding balance. Extend through the right knee, really compressing with the hip flexors and the quad. We drag and squat out wide, curtsy step the toes, plant the toes, lower the right knee onto the outside of the left ankle. From here, uncurl those back toes, roll on down onto the right hip, extend long through the left leg, wheel it around, behind us, active toes, up into an active pigeon. You can use your hands out in front for support as we fold on down, or you can fly the arms for something a little bit more intense. Just be sure to use the right glute to generate the movement here. 3 of those active pigeons, sinking back to the right glute, uncurling the back toes, lifting that left leg up back to its starting position if you can without using the hands. Otherwise, you might need to use your hands to put it into position. Squatting up into warrior 3. You can use the propeller arms, the aeroplane arms behind you, I should say. Tuck the chin in, flex the right foot, lower the toes into our crescent lunge. Nice straight back leg here, sinking deep into that right hip flexor. From here, we can add a twist, reaching behind, left leg in front, left hand behind. From our twist, we are sweeping the hands back, turning the right toes outwards, pivoting up onto our left heel, sinking down into our Cossack squat or our Skandasana. You can fly the wings here if that feels okay, or you can have the hands down on the floor for support. We want to be feeling this stretch through the left groin. From here, sweep the hands back to center. Draw the foot back into our downward facing dog. Drop the knees. Take a little child's pose to have a little break. Beautiful. Catch your breath. Extend the hands long. Let's move back up into downward facing dog. Step the right foot inside of the right thumb. Lifting all the way back up to standing. Let's do the other side. So this time, lifting the left leg as high as we can. Extending through the left leg. Keep that compression on. We drag and squat the left leg into our curtsy step, nice and wide. Sink the left knee on the outside of the right ankle, sitting down into that glute. Activate the right leg, sweeping it behind, active toes, lifting up into my pigeon. Active pigeon folds. Don't be afraid to use the hands here as well if you need. Otherwise, give the flying pigeon an attempt. 3 of those, sinking back to the left glute, lifting the back leg forwards, getting back into our original dragon squat position. Let's see if you can stand up without putting the hands down into our warrior 3. From here, drop the back toes, lifting up into our crescent lunge. Stretching through that back hip flexor, we add the twist. Still engaging through the right knee by drawing it inwards. From here, we're shifting over to the left leg, turn the left toes out, sinking down into our Cossack lunge. You can open the wings here, trying to get my left ankle flat to the ground without toppling over. Sweep the hands to the front of the mat, sending the leg back into a downward facing dog. Dropping the knees, taking a child's pose. Just catching our breath here
And then we're going to cycle through that pattern twice more on each side. So we might start to add a little bit more speed, and if you're using your hands for support, maybe we start to not rely on those as much. Extend the hands long, curl the toes under, shift on up into downward facing dog. You can step the right foot inside of the right thumb, followed by the left, coming up to standing. Lift the right leg, extend the right leg. Dragon squat. Level 2 of this is to not touch the toes down first, but the knee touches first, then the shin goes flat. Sit back into that. Lifting through the left leg, sweeps behind, it gets active. We fold into our pigeon. 3 of these, really using that right glute. Use the hands if you need, stay active through the back toes. Beautiful. Sitting back onto that right glute, lifting the left leg back to the front. Let's see if we can stand up without using the hands into our warrior 3, dropping the back toes into our crescent lunge. Let's add our twist and sinking back into our Cossack lunge on the right side. You can open the wings if that feels good. Sweep the hands to the front, step on back into downward facing dog. Drop the knees, take a little child's pose. Doing well. This is challenging stuff, and we can always make things harder or easier depending how the legs are feeling. Extend through the hands, curl the toes under, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward, followed by the left, coming up to standing. Beautiful. Lift the left leg. Extend. Dragon squat. Maybe you touch the knee down this time first instead of the toes for our curtsy. And then we sit back onto that left glute with control. Extend the right leg. Send it back. Hip articulation up into our pigeon. Lowering down. And back up. Lowering down. Really using my left glute to drive this movement. And back down we go. Last one. Sitting my left glute back to the ground. Articulating my right leg forward. Getting it back into my squat position. Lifting up, no hands if I can. Into warrior 3. Dropping the back toes to the mat. Lifting up into crescent lunge. Add the twist. Shifting back into our Cossack on the left leg. Extending long through the right. You can fly the wings if you wish, or keep the hands in prayer. Sweep the hands to the front. Draw the right foot back towards the left, downward facing dog. Drop the knees. Take a little moment in child's pose. Bit of a recovery pose, our child's pose. Just to collect our breath, feeling the sensations of the body, letting the energy settle before we go again for another set. Last set here, extend the legs long, lift the toes under, shift it up into downward facing dog. Beautiful. If you want to take a jump this time, you can bend the knees and try a little jump to the front of your mat, coming up to standing. Lift the right leg, extend, dragon squat with control. Choose your level. Sitting down onto my right glute, lifting the left leg, articulating that hip backwards. I managed to kick the wall that time. And down we go into our pigeon. Beautiful, strong glute active through the back toes, really engaging through my hip posterior chain and sinking that right glute, lifting the left foot back up into my warrior three. Drop the left toes, right toes I should say, crescent lunge. Add the twist. Sweep it back onto the right foot, turn the right toes out, pivot up onto the left heel into our Cossack lunge. All about the dorsiflexion, that angle between the shin and the top of the foot. Sweep the hands forward, draw the left foot back, take a downward facing dog. Drop the knees, enjoy a child's pose. Just catching the breath here, preparing to do the other side. Beautiful. Let's extend long through the hands, curl the toes under, shifting back to downward facing dog. You can either step or jump forward. If you do jump, bend the knees, press into the floor with the hands, jump yourself forward, coming up to standing. Lifting the left leg nice and high, extend. Dragon squat, the left leg around, slowly lower down with control. Maybe the knee touches first this time. Left glute finds the mat, go long through the right foot, sweep it behind, active toes, active pigeon. 3 of these active folds. That's 2. 1 more. Use that left glute. Sink the left glute to the mat, lift the right toes, articulate it all the way forward, up into warrior 3. Drop the left toes, lifting up into our crescent lunge. Train track alignment of the feet, twist. Sending it back to the left foot, left toes turn out, pivoting up onto the right heel. Our Cossack squat, our Cossack lunge. You can fly those wings again if you want. And drawing the hands back to the front, sweeping the right foot back to downward facing dog. And take a child's pose. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Just a nice, short, sharp one for you today. If you want to keep going, you can keep working through that sequence, or otherwise, I'll see you in the next workout.